person and via the recording when you watch it to our February Lunch and Learn. And today we have Debbie Rivers from Salina Shares as our guest speaker. And I'm going to let Debbie come up and tell about herself and tell us all about what wonderful work Salina Shares is doing for our community.
Well, thank you. I don't know how many of you know the story of Salina Shares, but it is very much a grassroots, homegrown effort. It began in 2012 when I invited a group of friends over to my house for a random acts of kindness party. And that's all it was going to be. And I had different things packaged up. We went out in different cars. We gave things away. We talked to different people. And came back to my house for lunch, shared lunch around the table, and told the stories of the people that we had met and how we were impacted, not really how the recipients were impacted. It was such a positive experience that we kept doing that for 2 more years. And the groups grew, there were a number of cars that went out grew, and in 2013, I received a call from a case manager at Salina Public Housing. She had heard of our group. I'm not sure how. We didn't have a name. We weren't associated with a church or an organization. It was just really a group of friends. And but she had heard what we were doing and asked if we could help meet the needs of the families that moved into public housing. That would range anywhere from toilet paper to kitchen supplies to furniture, depending on what it was. I said I didn't think I could commit my friends to that. So let's take a case-by-case scenario. And little did I know that that was really the seed of one of the 4 major things we do now, is provide home goods for people starting over. So we, one at a time, we took these families and we were amazed at how simple some of the lists were. Like I said, toilet paper, a skillet, food. And for all of these families, we were just going into our own homes. We were just sharing what we had. And like I said, over the course of 2 years, this group of friends grew, so we did have more people to pull from, but that's all it was, is just sharing what we had to help meet the needs of others. And so in 2000, one of the things that we always did in Random Acts of Kindness is we always went to all the laundromats and we gave people bags that had laundry pods, dryer sheets, and quarters in it. And people are just amazed when you give them exactly what they need with no strings attached. They don't believe there's no strings attached. That's what we learned. But there were no strings attached. And so we did that for those 2 years. And towards the end of 2013, a good friend of mine, some of you may know him, Andy Colbert, moved back to Salina from Kansas City. And he had started a Laundry Love program there. Laundry Love is a national initiative. It's happening all across the United States. But he said, Deb, you're already doing this. You're already taking the supplies and stuff into laundromats. Would you be interested in starting a Laundry Love? So in 2014, we started a Laundry Love. Literally, no documentation. We went in there with a couple jugs of laundry soap and a Ziploc of quarters and offered to pay for whoever's laundry was in there. And we are now in our 12th year of Laundry Love. So we're, at that time, only one laundromat would give us permission to start that. I'm not quite sure what they thought we were going to be doing because it's only extra money for the laundromat. But anyway, those laundromats changed ownership and we got the green light for all 3 laundromats. And so the first one started at Missing Sock on South Ohio in 2014, and we went into the other 2 laundromats in 2015. So we are at, that's the most public thing that most of us people know us for, because it's out in the public. It's meeting the need. Most people don't even know what else we do, or that we have an office downtown, or and that's okay with me. The whole journey, I have wanted to fly under the radar. I didn't start this to start something, you know what I mean? So publicity has not been important to me. But anyway, so by 2015, we had all 3 laundromats going, and it was pretty clear to me that my friends and I were not going to be able to sustain it. You know, our little Ziploc full of quarters wasn't going to cut it. So along this journey, I had a lot of cheerleaders. I had people that really believed in what we were doing, and 2 different people had given me $200 to apply to become a nonprofit. It cost $400 to do the short form, and I thought, you know, you have to answer no to, do you have $50,000? No. Yeah, I mean, really easy no questions, 7 no questions and $400, and you're basically approved to be a nonprofit. Well, I had kept that $400 on a kitchen shelf for 2 years because I did not want to become an organization. I did not want to be a nonprofit. I don't have a business mind. I operate from a whole different area of giftings, and so it just wasn't anything interesting to me. But I knew that somehow we had to figure out a way to support Laundry Love. So in 2016, after much thought and pondering and prayer, I did apply to become a nonprofit. So in 2016, we became a nonprofit. In 2017, I had some people come to me and they said, we've been watching you, we love what you're doing, we want to help you get a building. Because all this had been done out of my home. So literally, I would put on Facebook, we need pots and pans, and people would drop it off on our front porch. We had a big front porch on Highland Avenue. For 25 years we lived there, and it just became kind of the joke, you know, that we drive into our driveway and what would be on the front porch, you know. And I still have people tell me they miss my front porch, you know, dropping stuff up there. But that's why I say this is very homegrown, very, I could never have planned how it has grown. And anyway, in 2019 then, we moved into a building on 5th Street. We're right next door to the Salvation Army thrift store. And really didn't even quite recognize it at the time, but in the heart of the need, really. We have DBAC to our east, we have Ashby House to our west, we have a homeless population downtown. Just really, until we opened our doors on 5th Street, I had no idea how strategically placed we were. So in some ways I feel like we were from behind from the beginning, because I needed to surround myself with business people smarter than me to know how to really navigate this wisely, you know. And so those people serve on our board. I heard you mention Lindsay earlier. She's actually the president of our board right now. Lindsay Garber is. Great business mind, practical with a lot of heart as well. So we continue to navigate our journey by, my priority is affirming dignity of people. So how can we meet needs that keeps people's dignity intact? I would invite all of you to come visit our building, because I think it speaks to that as soon as you walk in. It's not your typical nonprofit. It doesn't feel at all institutional. It feels like a living room when you walk in. And we do serve a number of homeless people and what I call marginally housed. They're living in hotels, they're couch surfing, but they don't have a permanent home, as well as people that do. So right now, we have about 20 different organizations that refer people to us for that home goods piece. So our Salina Shares building, that's our we have a huge storage room in the back that holds all the towels, all the sheets, all the personal hygiene, cleaning supplies. Somebody does an underwear drive for us every June. So we have one whole shelving unit that's just underwear. We have winter hats, scarves, gloves. And then our kitchen, we have a beautiful kitchen, but everything in it is given away. It's not really a functional kitchen. It doesn't have a stove. We do have a microwave, but we don't have a stovetop to cook. We do have an oven. But everything in those cupboards is the kitchen piece of what we give away for these move-ins. And so if you think about all the scenarios with people starting over, those case managers are sending people to us. So that would include Ashby House and DVAC and Rescue Mission and CKF, and but a lot of little ones too, like Comfort Keepers, and there's Thrive that meets the needs of babies and toddlers and with health issues, all sorts of organizations that refer people to us. So Laundry Love's the main thing. It's our most public thing. The move-ins is huge. It takes most of our building. And then in 2020, I was really trying to figure out a piece, the Christmas piece. We had always adopted families at Christmas and helped to provide needs that way. But I was never happy with that because I felt like, who are we to know what they really want or their favorite color or what they need, or how can we do this? And what happened in 2020, as we know, many people lost jobs or hours that had never had to ask for help before, and we're still not going to. They weren't going to go to an agency to ask for help for Christmas. So I'm like, those are the people I want to help. You know, the people that are working hard, that aren't looking for a handout, but have just hit this really rough time. And so I rented a building for 3 months on Walnut, which is around the corner from us, and we did a Christmas store. And because it was COVID, we did it by appointment only. So only that family was in there at that time. To me, that also helped with the dignity piece. They didn't have to be embarrassed if they saw somebody they knew. They didn't have to feel competitive in getting a certain gift that they might want, that somebody else might want, you know. And so we did that in 2020, and now we've done it ever since. So that's a year-round project. We now rent the building next to Salina Shares as well. The people that purchased the building for us at Salina Shares renovated it for us as well. It's beautiful. And so we rent from them. And then the building right next door became available. It was a personal trainer in there. He could not make it through COVID. And so in 2021, that became available. And the board said, we cannot pass this up. It's right here. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 years, you know, but let's grab it. So that is our Christmas store year-round. We are purchasing and taking donations for that. This past Christmas, we served 107 families with 283 kids. We had some really big families. And then, but that is by referral and appointment only now. So it's a little bit like the golden ticket, you know, if you get that referral. What we hear most often is, I never knew about this, and we do that on purpose. It's not open to the public. I didn't realize there would be so much stuff, and I didn't realize there would be such nice stuff. So we really, for Salina Shares, we take used everything. You have a coffee maker you want to give us, we'll take it. Toaster, sheets, towels, whatever, we'll take used. But for the Christmas store, we only take new. We just feel like at Christmas, it should be new. That, like I said, has been, you know, kind of the third major thing that we do. The other interesting thing over the years that I find kind of real interesting is that people know us for leaving hats, scarves, and gloves around town. We tie them at bus stops, we tie them around poles downtown, we go to parks, we go to school fences during some of the coldest days and leave that winter wear for people to take. And it has a note on it that you're free to take this, you know, this is for you. So those are just a few examples of the things that we do. In the summertime, we do what we call play in the parks. Salina has a lot of little tiny neighborhood parks that are very underutilized, you know. We started out at Pacific Park, which is far north on North 13th. And what struck me is the very first one we did there, a young boy came up to me, he was probably 8 or 9, and said, "Did you know that a taxi cab driver was shot right over there?" And I said, "I did. I am so sorry about that." I said, "But we're here to have fun today. We're gonna make some good memories here, you know? So that's what we're really trying to do, is especially for some of the underserved neighborhoods, we go in, we take all the stuff. We take the snacks, the food, the music, the games. We take whatever facilities are at that little park. If there's a basketball goal, we take a bunch of basketballs. If there's a soccer field, we take soccer balls. And all that goes home with the families. So we literally go to the neighborhoods the week before. We go door to door and invite people. We do a lot the old-fashioned way. I want to do things face to face. I want to talk to the people that we're neighbors with, rather than an us and them mentality. We're community together, and so we go door to door and invite people. And like I said, that we're only there for 2 hours, but here's what we see. We see people exchanging phone numbers because their kids are playing together. They're walking to their neighborhood park because they live in the same neighborhood. They talk to one another. And it's so neat. It's like we get to kind of facilitate this little party, but they go home and have made some connections too in their own neighborhood. So we've done Play in the Park since 2013, and we still do those every summer. So I think we are unique in the field. We're not a typical nonprofit at all, but we are a nonprofit organization. So that's helped us to sustain Laundry Love. It now costs us $1,000 a month to run Laundry Love. We could not have done that had we not become a nonprofit. So anyway, those are the basics of what we do. One thing I love about being small is we can decide today to do something tomorrow. And we have done things like that before, and it's so fun. So anyway, that's Salina Shares in a nutshell. That's a long story short, for sure. But I just wanted to leave some time for any questions or comments. Were all of you aware of Salina Shares before today? I know you, yeah. I'm still always amazed when people say they've heard of us. It's like, really? But again, we have a great location downtown that I think has really helped. Now that we have a permanent address, there's something about that permanence, rather than just being done out of my home and a Facebook page to try and meet those needs. We do have a website. I just brought our little wrap card that has all our information on it, all our contact information for you, and then a Laundry Love schedule if any of you are ever interested. We have all the dates and times for the whole year, and we hand those out to people that we serve at Laundry Love. So, Ann?
Do you have the feeling that the need is getting bigger and bigger?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see that? I mean, how do
Yeah.
you feel?
We kind of take it as it comes. I mean, and for instance, yeah, it's hard. I mean, during 2020, we started giving away food bags. And it really started with a partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters, because if you think about it, kids were sent home from school. A lot of families depend on the schools for breakfast and lunch. So what we were hearing from Big Brothers Big Sisters is there were a lot of food insecure families. They just hadn't planned or purchased for that. So every week we would check in. Amanda Otto and I, she actually let me use the first warehouse space at her father's business years ago, and it's just funny that we're now good friends and both in the nonprofit world. But she would call me every Monday and say, we have 12 families with no food. We have this many families with no food. And so that's kind of how it started. We would buy kid-friendly food that kids could prepare at home, even if parents weren't there. Then we went to the food bags. And by 2023, we were giving away 700 bags a month. And it was, to us, out of control, because that wasn't part of our original mission, was to be a food provider. So it's just a good example of, anyway, we stopped. It was the hardest thing I've done, the hardest decision. But we stopped giving out food bags in March of 2024. And we gave them 3 months notice that we were going to stop. So we lost a lot of people that would come in every day for those snack sacks, is what we call them. But what we learned from that is the people we really lost were more of the people that were taking advantage. The people that still come in every day are hungry. They are truly hungry, the ones that we see all the time. So we always have fresh fruit up front at our counter. There's a lady that bakes for us and brings us freshly baked goods every Wednesday. And she's 84 years old. She comes every Wednesday and brings baked goods for us. We always have something under our counter, whether it's a cup of noodles or a canned pasta meal, or they love the boxed tuna meals. We always have something for the people that say, I'm really hungry. You know, we were there Sunday moving some furniture and 2 guys came in, you know. Our door was unlocked because we were moving furniture in and out, but my husband was there, so I was okay. They know my car is part of it, you know. But we gave them food. They're hungry. And on weekends, it is hard to find food resources. So, you know, all that to say, we don't see as many homeless anymore since Salina Grace moved to Broadway. They're not as much downtown anymore. But we still see more and more need. We see people coming in that just can't make it through the month even, you know, that families that come in for toilet paper or laundry soap or something just to help them get through, or, you know, personal care items, shampoo or whatever. And I think we're seeing more and more of that. When gas got so high and food got so high, we saw a lot of increased need. So we just kind of ride it. We really want to meet needs. During the winter, we give away coats, hats, gloves, scarves, hand warmers, all winter long. And they can come in. Everything's free. Anything that we do give away, we literally give away. So we just try to meet as many needs as possible. We do see certain surges at certain times, but we try to make wise decisions with the money that we do have. And the beautiful part is that we've stayed true to our mission in terms of many of the home goods are shared. So somebody's cleaning out a parent's home, they bring us, you know, towels, sheets, pots and pans, dishes, whatever. So many of the move-ins that we do are at low to no cost to us, you know. The hygiene items and the cleaning supplies are probably what we purchase. But, you know, they're getting probably $150 worth of stuff, if not more, depending on what they're getting, that have been no cost to us either, because people have shared what they have. And I love that sharing component is still what keeps us alive and well, so. Any other questions?
I came in late, so can you tell me, what is Laundry Love?
Laundry Love is, we're in each of the laundromats in town once a month, and we pay for 5 loads of laundry for them.
And so people show up with their laundry and then hand them to you, or do
No.
they do it?
They do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we just put the money in.
Okay.
So they check in with us. We have a magnet system, and so the first person there is number 1, and we just take first name only. There is no proof of income. We offer it as to everybody as a random act of kindness. So if they're written down on number 1, then they have 5 magnets with a number 1. They can either get 5 single loaders, or they can get 3 double loaders, or 2 triple loaders, you know, whatever's closest to 5 loads. And then when they're done with those washers, they put those magnets on their dryer, so that we always know whose clothes are in what machine. We always provide snacks and drinks as well. Our Tuesday night one is at Speedy Wash, which is that tiny little one on iron, and we provide dinner at that one. A number of the homeless, this is the area that they come to, and we just do 2 loads there because it's such a tiny laundromat to serve as many people as we can, but we do serve dinner there at that one.
And once again, I'm sorry for
No, that's okay.
running late, but so what was the birth idea? Like, what was the impetus?
A random acts of kindness party.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I never in 100 years could have dreamt that this would be a thing, that it would be an organization, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Things
Yeah.
happen organically like that. It's
Yes,
so wonderful.
definitely.
Yeah.
So we still do those. Last year we did them on the 15th of every month. We just go out and about. One of the most fun things was, because we had chosen the 15th, April 15th, we took goodie baskets to all the tax preparation places. They were like so stressed out, and you know, they look at you when you're coming in the door, and then they're like, we got so many thank you notes from those, because whoever thinks of them, right? And that's what we're constantly trying to do, is who else? Like, who have we not thought of, you know? There was a time that federal employees were furloughed. This is years ago. This is when I was at my home. And this was in a living room on a Thursday night. Who were federal employees in Salina? And all we could think of was the TSA workers at our little airport. I've learned since there's more federal employees. Now I know where they are. We can bless them. But we went out to the airport. We took gift cards. Michael Chambers was the director of the food bank at the time, so I called Michael and I'm like, hey, can you give us some stuff to take out? And he was so excited. He goes, I'm so excited to be a part of one of your things, you know? And he loaded us up with great stuff, and we took all that out to the airport. Well, little did I know, it's federal government. Like, it was so hard to give them the stuff. But they were making phone calls. They're like, we don't know if we can receive this, and you have to sign this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But that was a good example of an idea on a Thursday night. We did it on Friday. You know, it was really fun. We gave gift cards, and literally 2 of the employees were in tears. They just couldn't believe that we did that, you know. So we're always trying to think of who haven't we thought of, you know. It's like that referral system for our Christmas store, we get them from a lot from schools. We had a ton this year from the health department, the people that were accessing the WIC program. A lot of those are working families that are still just not able to make ends meet. But anyway, and then we had a whole cleaning service. We had all the cleaning ladies come and shop the Christmas store. You know, we're just always trying to think of who else can we just, you know, be just that sudden good break to, you know, and just, so that was really fun. We do have bilingual volunteers for that, for a number of the school referrals. Our CAPS refers a number of Spanish-speaking families to us for the Christmas store. So we have bilingual volunteers that can help them, and yeah, it's really fun.
I can't remember if you told me this one at some other place, but don't you also do college dorm assistance for some sort of
We have.
basic housekeeping stuff to college kids that have shown up here with a car or arrived here some way without much stuff?
Yeah, we focused in on the international students
Mhm.
at KW is where we kind of narrowed it down. And we've done that in the last 3 years. So we provide the sheets, towels, comforter, pillows, everything's new for them. Backpacks, hygiene supplies, and yeah, and distributed those mainly through the coaches, because a lot of them are coming to play something. So the international students. So yeah, this is the 3rd year we've done that. And we keep doing, you know, for 4 years, we did a huge party for all the families in housing. And that's when, you know, kind of at the very beginning, when that's the group we were given. And the 4th year we did it, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I just knew that was the last year. I just thought, okay, that's it, and we're gonna share the love somewhere else. And we did. So it's kind of the beauty of a small thing too, is that, you know, we really do want to share the love. We really do want to see, you know, there's other groups and other, so I'm always looking for ideas too, from my volunteers and anybody who has a great idea of who we can bless. Yeah.
And so how are you funded? Is it grant writing?
It's almost all private donations. So I do, every year I write a grant for Laundry Love through Greater Salina Community Foundation. And they, from the beginning, even before we were a nonprofit, they've always given us the grant for Laundry Love, so that's awesome. And then this year, we had, somebody called me from Union Pacific Railroad. He said, we want to give you $2,500 for Laundry Love. And I'm like, how do you know about us? Like, and they do give grants to communities that they go through. So we got that at the end of December for Laundry Love. Laundry Love is such an easy to understand thing, you know, and people could see that the money is going directly towards washing and drying clothes. You know, there's no guesswork, like, I wonder what they're doing with the money, you know? We're washing and drying clothes, you know? I do have to tell a story of a kid. He was 12 when he came in. And he came in with one of our homeless guys, and I didn't know quite where that parent came from, but he was really distraught. And so I was trying to make conversation with him to calm him down a little bit. And and it was July, so I knew school was starting, and I said, are you ready to go back to school? And he said, I don't even know if I'm enrolled. He goes, my mom's in Kansas City, and I don't even know if I'm enrolled. And so it wasn't a common question, you know, it brought more anxiety for him. And so I said, well, we can help you with a backpack and all the school supplies. I said, we take the list from the schools, you know, and we put all those things in your backpack. And he said, can you do one for my brother too? And I said, sure. And I said, how old's your brother? He's a year younger. And so that kid came back 2 days later to pick up his backpacks by himself. He wasn't with that guy. And he goes, so how does this whole thing work? Like, you just give stuff away, you know? And I said, pretty much. and he said, yeah. And he looked at our lights. We have the high ceiling. When we moved in, all the ceiling tiles were stained, and so they were taking them down. And I said, can we just leave them down? Like, that looks really cool. Anyway, he looks up at the lights and kind of around, and he said, yeah, but how do you pay rent? And I thought, this is a kid whose family hasn't been able to pay rent, because how many 12-year-olds even think of that, you know? And I said, well, some people donate money, and that's how we pay the rent and the electricity. And I said, everybody just shares what they can, and then the needs are met from all the things that have been shared. And so a couple days later, he came back in and he brought us his skateboard. And it's a little skateboard, and it's beat up, it's well loved, well used, you know, and I just couldn't hardly take it from him, you know. And a couple of volunteers were crying, and you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's okay, you know. He goes, what? You told me that's how this whole thing works. We'll share what they have. And I'm like, I can't, you know, and I've got to take it from this kid, you know. And anyway, we were able to serve his family through the Christmas tour, and they have a long story, long journey. They got separated from their parents for a while. It turns out his mom was in Kansas City because she was battling cancer and getting treatment, and that's why he didn't know when she'd be back. But anyway, and so that really is it. The money that's donated usually goes to our, you know, the running of the building, and I am paid. That was a really hard corner for me to turn when we started in a public building, and the board said, we've got to start paying you. You know, I'm like, no, I'm not going to be paid to help people, you know. And so that was a battle, but I am paid, and everybody else is volunteer. We have about 20 building volunteers that staff different shifts. We have another 15 or 20 Laundry Love volunteers. Everything is volunteer. So it's just kind of cool the way the whole thing works. But I'll never forget Caden's interaction, you know, and explaining to him how this whole thing worked. Yeah.
Do you have need for like temporary increase in the number of volunteers for these spontaneous ventures that you?
Yeah, so October through December is our high need season. One of the other things we do, and we do so many little things that I neglect to tell them sometimes, but the day before Thanksgiving, we have a home-cooked Thanksgiving meal. We have round tables and chairs, place settings, centerpieces, like nice, you know. And we invite all the people we serve all year to come to that. That takes a lot of volunteers. The last 3 years, And they've taken this over now, which is awesome. It's all delegated to them. But the women from St. Elizabeth's cook everything on Tuesday. And then, so everything's home cooked, mashed potatoes from scratch, all the turkeys, dressing, gravy, we do green beans, pies, and we serve that from noon to 5 the day before Thanksgiving. And for our family, it's become our Thanksgiving. Like, they all come, my grandkids have grown up with it, you know, we all eat together, you know, with our neighbors, and it's just a really cool thing, but that takes a lot of volunteers. And then our Christmas store, we had over 100 volunteers this year because we're open 7 days a week. Transportation and childcare are the 2 hurdles to get a time when a family can shop. And so we stay open 2 evenings a week. We're open 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday. So it really takes a lot of people to make it happen. So that's our highest need time is the fall for sure. But we'll take you anytime.
So how do you volunteer? You go online, or can you just call you up, or just show
Call
up?
me up, and yep, I have you just fill out a short form with your information, and you can just pick what works for you. You know, I have 3 new volunteers starting in February, actually next week, all starting next week. And they pick different things. 2 of them picked every other week, you know, 2 hours every other week. And some people do, I have 2 gals, they want to do a whole day, they do 10 to 5. I was called for jury duty today, so I have somebody there 10 to 5 today. I got out of it, but I was so glad because, anyway, I was worried I wasn't going to be here. I said, so if I don't show up, it's because I don't have a phone and I can't let you know I'm not going to be there. But anyway, it's really that easy. It's at your convenience. But some people would look at our calendar that has when everybody's serving and say, oh, you don't need anybody because you have people every day. But my goal, here's my goal. In the early years, I was there by myself a lot, you know. And then as we got more popular and we're serving more and more people, it just really isn't wise to be there by yourself, the people that we're serving. So I always try and have one other person with me. Well, now we're trying to get to the point, because as we've grown, I'm asked to be away for different, you know, more meetings, more speaking. And so we're trying to get 2 people on every shift plus me, you know. So we still have lots of room to plug volunteers in, you know. Or like, you know, this month we have 5 volunteers gone traveling because they're retired. I'm like, no, retirement is your first gig. Like this is second, you know. Like, so anyway, it's very easy. There's a simple form. I give you a tour. There we do have a little book that I have you just read through as far as procedure and get you trained. So yeah. But I'd love for any of you to come see the building. I would walk you through the Christmas store. We last year we decided for the first time we left it up. We left all the decorations up. So that people could get a vision for what it is. Before then, we had packed everything away, thinking maybe we'll use that building for something else, like furniture storage. And we were also doing pop-up clinics. Salina Family Healthcare was doing pop-up clinics at our building, and we thought they may need part of that building for confidentiality purposes. So we packed everything away. This 2024 was the first year we left it up. And it was actually a wonderful way to, for lack of a better word, kind of market it to people who might want to volunteer or donate towards it. They could see, oh, this is what you're talking about, you know, and really get a sense of what we were doing in there. So I'd be happy to show you around. Thanks for coming. Any other questions?
So, if someone watches our video, or if they wanted to help, what is the biggest thing the community could do for your organization?
Probably, you know, they're just really practical little things. Personal hygiene items are always at the top of the list. So when you mentioned you might have some of that, we just go through tons of that. And we put, the travel sizes are available for anybody who comes in up front, but we put full size of everything in our new bins. I learned years ago that if you're on that SNAP card, you can't buy personal hygiene or cleaning supplies. So we feel like if they're at a juncture, you know, where they're starting over, that will save them some money too, if we just include all the cleaning supplies and the hygiene items. So those two are probably what we purchase most on our own. Air beds are another thing that the bed issue in Salina is very challenging. And so, but it's also the first thing that's ditched if somebody's gonna leave. They can't take it with them, they just leave it wherever, or out in the front yard. And so we didn't want to invest in beds, but we do give away air mattresses, so people have a bed. And then Laundry Love is probably, you know, any kind of laundry supplies. We provide all that for people. They don't have to bring any of that. So any kind of laundry supplies, dryer sheets, even individual snacks for Laundry Love, we also purchase that to be able to provide those at Laundry Love. So really simple things, you know, and then if you do have extra, you know, or you know of somebody who's, I mean, we go to garage sales a lot during the summer, you know, to try and pick up backpacks and sleeping bags and some of the things that we get asked for all the time. So just the simple components of starting over will take any of that.
So if I would like to show up and donate some bedding, I would just simply drive up there and walk through your front door with it and hand it over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have somebody there to help you.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We now have 3 men volunteering. So one on Monday, one on Tuesday, and one on Thursday. So that helps with some of the things. We try not to take furniture. We try and get it from the donor to the recipient and not come through us. But sometimes people drop stuff off. And we don't have room for it, but I hate to refuse it when it's free and I know people are going to need it. So we still dabble in furniture. I just try not to have my husband do it all. So for a while, he was the one. Somebody said, "Steve, you know how you solve this? You just get rid of your truck." It's really easy. Anyway. So, any other questions? I appreciate you coming. I was worried when I first walked in, but thank you so much. Yeah, smiling.
I want to thank Debbie for coming. I mean, I knew about Laundry Love and I'd heard of Salina Shares, but I had no idea how big it was, what all you do. I was just, you know, Laundry Love, that's all I knew. So I'm very excited to learn more. And if anybody out that watches this feels the need or the calling to help, just get a hold of Debbie and she'll let you help her. So next month is our last lunch and learn for this winter, spring, and it will be March 11th, and it will be Callie Berghardt, and this is something that's near and dear to my heart all of a sudden. She will be talking about punching out Parkinson's of Central Kansas. She is the lead coach for the Rocksteady Boxing, and I had never heard about it until my husband got the diagnosis, and I reached out to somebody, and it's amazing the exercise program that they have for these people, for people with Parkinson's, and I just think everybody needs to know about it, because everybody I talked to, they had no clue about that it was even around. So she will be our speaker on March the 11th, and then we'll start back up in with Lunch and Learns in September, and I think that's it. So thanks everybody for coming and for watching, and we'll see you next month.